Okay, so we are live. It says that we're here. It says my mic's connected. Okay, cool. Awesome. What is going on, guys? I hope you're all having an amazing Thursday night, right? The first, I think, no, this is probably the second Thursday. But whatever. We're in February, and I hope you're all having an amazing Thursday night. Tonight, we're going to be going over a couple things, right? NFP, for those of you guys that don't know what NFP is, we're going to be going into the NFP report that's coming out tomorrow. We're going to be going over jobless data claims and everything that came out today. And we're going to be analyzing a couple of trades that we took this week. And we're going to be breaking down what we expect to see moving forward tomorrow and into the next week. So if you guys are able to hear me and see me clearly, do me a quick favor and just drop a 1 in the chat for me while I pull everything up. And we'll get right into it. Yes, if you guys can see me, cool, perfect. Yeah, so I'm not going to go too much into like the introductory stuff that we went into last week. If you guys are new here, you can go watch that from last week. Today, I'm going to try and keep this one a little bit short. We're going to just, like I said, we're going to dive into trades that we took this week. And we're going to go into the news reports that came out today. And we're going to go into NFP tomorrow. For those of you guys that don't know what NFP is, it stands for non-farm payroll. To sum it up, it is probably one of the most important and impactful news reports that happens for economic data. So it's one of the biggest market movers, for lack of better words, right? Whenever you're trading during news reports, you get a lot of big candles and you get a lot of big movement that can give you an opportunity to make a larger amount of money than you would on a normal day, or lose more. But when it comes to NFP, that's one of the more important ones that people tend to follow and track. So it's important to know what's going to happen, why it happens, and what you can expect whenever the reports drop, whether it's positive, whether it's negative, and what that means and how you can capitalize on that, right? So that's the main thing we're going to be talking about, is what we expect to see for tomorrow and the rest of this week, right? Or the rest of the next week, for the rest of this month. We have had a lot of, impactful things that have been happening in regards to, political parties and in regards to economical parties as well. Prioritizing, not prioritizing, but the main thing I want to prioritize in regards to that is the tariffs that were going on, the trade wars that's kind of happening right now with Canada, Mexico, and China and America. For those of you guys that don't know, this is something separate from, it has to do with immigration and everything that's going on with that as well, but more so the tariffs are the way it's impacting the dollar specifically. It was doing pretty good in the beginning. So we'll go into that. I'll show you guys the result of what happened because of Trump's tariff and everything that's happened as a result this week because the tariffs did not go through yet, right? Most of them, for China, some stuff happened with China. I think China's 10% tariff got put in, but for Mexico and Canada, that was extended for another 30 days, right? So then we'll show you guys how that impacted the market and where we're currently at right now in regards to price, right? Where price is at currently and where we can expect that to go. Again, we're going to kind of talk about fundamental data today. Last week, we didn't talk anything about fundamental data. So it's kind of a ballpark, right? Where everything is going to be going, right? We're dealing with some things that, we haven't dealt with as a country and as traders kind of in a long time, right? Or if ever. Me personally, this is my first time going through a trade war, in my 25, almost 26 years of life. You know what I mean? So we have to learn how to navigate this stuff correctly. That way we can make the correct economical decisions and the correct investing decisions, whether you are a long-term investor or if you are a day trader or a swing trader, whatever the case may be. But point being is we're going to educate you guys on that, right? So I think the best way to go about starting this is we're going to kind of continue where we left off last week. Let me do this. 1 second. What screen is sharing right now? Hold on. Jeez Louise. Okay. So you guys see a bunch of me's. And we're going to move that there. We're going to ignore the Discord. And we're going to look here. Cool. Okay, so this is where we were at last week. So last week's call we did on Thursday, right? Last Thursday we were right around here, right? Trading here. And now the tariff announcement came out, right? So let's go ahead and put that back to Sunday market open. All right, so we're going to put this right here. Boom. All right, so this is Sunday night or Sunday afternoon, whatever, as soon as market open, right? So as markets open Sunday through Friday. Okay, so only day it's closed is Saturday. So Trump was talking about the tariffs and talking about all this stuff Thursday, that week, previous week, probably like Wednesday or something. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, market opens on Sunday. Okay, so before we go into what we're about to see happen, right, let's understand what tariffs are and how they work, right? Because for those of you guys that don't know how they work, I didn't really know how they worked either, but, it's kind of important to know how it works, so you had to figure it out, okay? And how it affects the dollar, right? Because when you think of tariffs, right, it sounds bad, right? And what happened last week in the markets, right? The stock market plunged, right? And the crypto markets tanked, right? Bitcoin went down to like 90 something. It went down to like 94 or 97 or some crap like that, right? Which is still extremely high, but compared to the previous weeks, 110,000 or whatever, that's significantly low. Okay, and a lot of other cryptos started tanking. Solana was at 212. Right now, Solana's at like 190 something. I'm pretty sure. Same thing with every other major cap crypto. A lot of other big companies as well in regards to stocks tanked last week as well, right? So why does that happen, right? So when that happens, and if you're in the Cashflow program, I have a whole video about what happens whenever fear happens in the market, right? Where do people put their money whenever people are fearful about what's going to happen next, right? So you got to imagine yourself, right? Let's say that you had, let's say $100,000 in different assets, whether it's gold, whether it's property, whether it's a bond, whether it's whatever the case may be, okay? Whatever asset class you might have your money invested into, okay? If you start hearing the economy's going to shit, if you start hearing we're about to go into a world war, if you start hearing, the market's crashing, if you start hearing, whatever, what are you kind of probably gonna do, right? If you think you might lose your job, if you think that you might not have financial security moving forward, what is the common person gonna do, right? Not what are banks and institutions and, macro investors gonna do. What are you gonna do? The little people, right? The little people sell everything, right? They think that the most important asset that you can have is cash, right? So what happens in this time, right? So let's say about it like this, right? When the economy is going really good, right? Risk assets like stocks, like bonds, like real estate, whatever, are valued a lot higher because everyone thinks everything is very good, right? So everyone is taking every dollar they have and they're pouring it out into the economy, right? So this means the value of risk on assets goes up and the value of risk off assets, and that's bonds aren't risk on, bonds are risk off, I'm sorry, but things like the dollar, actual physical cash, go down in value, okay? Meaning that if something like gold is raising in value, the dollar is going to be losing value. Meaning also this, if you're a Forex trader, not an indice trader, but a Forex trader, if you're a Forex trader and the value of the dollar is going down, what does that mean for Euro USD, right? If the value of the dollar is going down, what does that mean for Euro USD? It means that Euro USD is going to go up. Okay, so that's when the US economy is thriving and everything is going great, right? Believe it or not, when everything is going great in the economy, the value of the dollar is not actually worth more than it was before, right? A lot of people think that inflation and interest rates directly dictate the value of the dollar, but that's not necessarily true. The thing that dictates the value of the dollar is retail and macro investors and where they're putting their money. Because again, if everyone's taking their money, and we're going to get into how the trade works in a second, but I'm giving you guys the foundation here, right? If everyone is taking their money, their paychecks, every spare dollar they have, and they're buying Nvidia, right? Or whatever the case may be. They're asset rich, but cash poor, okay? Meaning they don't have a lot of cash, okay? So now when everyone starts freaking out, right? When everyone starts thinking, oh, the market's crashing or whatever, and they sell, let's say, for example, their Nvidia, or they sell their gold, or they sell their property, or they sell their crypto, or they sell whatever, what does that turn into? It turns back into cash, right? It turns back into, we're Americans here for the most part, right? We have some international people, shout out to you guys, but for the most part, and the same thing applies in other countries, but for the most part, in America, it turns back into US dollars, right? So when everyone is panic selling their crypto, when everyone is panic selling their assets, right, their gold, right, whatever it is, right, contrary to what everyone thinks that is good, right, or that's bad for the dollar, that's bad for the economy, it's not, right? So when Trump announced these tariffs, right, what did everyone do? Everybody sold their assets. Everybody started selling what they own. Everyone started selling crypto. Everyone started selling their stocks, and everyone started selling their risk to get their cash back, right? And as a result, an influx of money went into the DXY, into the dollar index. It went into the dollar itself, right? Meaning the dollar is worth more, meaning that this pair is probably gonna go down. Right, so the way that I explained this the other day in our Discord chat, I'll just read it to you guys word for word how I wrote it. Right, where is this at? What days are these? This is Monday, so we'll go to Sunday. Okay. Here we go. So I wrote a whole bunch of stuff actually, right? So while I'm talking, I'll let you guys read this, right? As to why, okay? But we'll go into the chart in a second, okay? But what I'm trying to get at, okay, is, and this is going to lead into this current week as well, why the market is where it's at currently and where we can expect it to go next week and the week after that and the next upcoming months, potentially, right, based off of what happens in this next 30 days with Mexico and with Canada. Okay, because it is important stuff. It's boring stuff for people that don't want to care about it. But for us traders and for people that are, you know, trying to make money in the world, it's kind of important. You know what I mean? So to bring back everything down to earth, when these tariffs are announced, people freak out. And that's really what it boils down to, is people freak out. People freak out about war. People freak out about retaliation. People freak out about prices. They think that gas prices are going to go up. Whatever X, Y, and Z you want to call it. People freak out. When people freak out, they sell their risk. Why? Why does that happen, Ollie? I don't know, right? It's just what happens, right? When people get scared, they sell their crap, you know, and they want money, right? Because they feel like it's safer, okay? Is that a viable answer? Yes, you know, maybe I would do it too, you know what I mean? If I had millions of dollars in crypto and I was thinking, you know, okay, shit, you know, something might go down, maybe I'd sell it, you know, who knows? You know, I mean, I'm not there yet, you know, so I don't know. But people that do that, that's typically what happens. They sell their stuff, right? And now when they sell it, price goes down. So to bring everything back down to here, Trump announced these tariffs around here. Okay, market closed on Friday night, right? Sunday night, we made the prediction that the dollar was going to gain a lot of value because everybody that previous trading week, Thursday, Friday, sold everything and there was a big dip. So when assets dip, the dollar increases. So what happens here? Right? A huge fucking massive candle. A candle that I didn't even expect to be that big. Right? But instantly, okay, this is a 5-minute time frame. Okay, so this was literally probably like 1 or 2 minutes where the market, as soon as market opened, right, we dropped down 120 pips. Right? 120 pips. Usually what takes around at least 1 or 2 trading days happen in 1 minute. Okay, 2 minutes. Right? So what happened with Bitcoin? What happened with gold at that time? What happened with every single majority other asset that's traded against the dollar, right? That pair went down, right? And because the dollar gained so much strength, right? So the first trade of the week that we did was targeting to fill this liquidity, right? Right here, last week we talked a lot about liquidity. I have other previous live streams posted about how to identify where liquidity zones are, XYZ, whatever you want to call it, right? But whatever it is an area of interest right around here. How do you know there's an area of interest there, Ollie? Why? Because there's a very big candle that sent the price massively down, meaning that there is a lot of orders right around here, right? Is it this exact price right here? Probably not. Is it this exact price right here? Probably not. So what do we call it? A liquidity zone. I can't tell you the exact price, and I would waste years off my life trying to guess the exact price. So instead, we'll just say it's a zone, right? And we'll target to get in on the market, and we'll ride it back on the way up. Is it going to come all the way up? I don't know, but we can get at least 20 to 30 pips, right? So that's the first trade that we took, was around on Monday, was targeting this to come back up. And now we'll see what happens. This is a long 5-minute time frame. Let me put on a bigger time frame. This is still Sunday. So we took our first trade. So we were right around here. So let's just fast forward this. Okay, so we got in around, where's Monday, 8:30. So we'll watch it for right there. So we got another couple hours. Okay, so right around 8:30. Because I trade New York, I'm on the computer. You can go look at the Discord if, you know, whatever. So right around here is where we decided to get in for our buys, right? We got in around here. Again, a simple setup, very simple setup, just expecting price to fill this gap. Just fill that price gap. We talked about that a lot last week. If something impulsively goes down, more than likely it needs to fill the gap to some extent, right? If we want to be technical and we want to use fibs, whatever, fine. We can take one from here. Oops. Not that. We can take a fib, draw it down, right? And if we're going to enter here for longs, for buys, whatever you want to call it, we can target at least up to the gold zone, right? Put our stop loss right around there. That's still 50 pips, right? And that's probably what we did. I don't remember the exact setup. I have it posted earlier. I have it in my trading journal, but that's on paper, right? So then boom, right? This looks like I got stopped out, but probably we didn't. But either way, so that came up there. Let me stop this. Let me delete that. So either way, that was the first trade that we took. And then moving forward, delete this one. That way it's clean. So we came up here, and then same thing too. We mentioned this as well. This is still early on. I'm trying to get to over here, so I'm kind of trying to rush a little bit because it's already 30 minutes. So basically, we broke this previous channel that we were trading in. If we want to look at that really quick. We were trading in this previous channel. We drew this channel last week. So if you want to go check that out, it's just literally a momentum channel or whatever you want to call it. But as soon as we broke out, right, we had this very big impulsive move, right? We targeted, as soon as we broke the neckline, we targeted the previous area. And then as soon as you can tell, right, look at this too, it broke, retested this zone, right? After that, we go to the next day, right? The next day was Tuesday, 8:30. Let's go to Tuesday, 8:30. Or when did we take this trade, actually? We took this one, actually. I think this was the day I took an overnight trade. Let's see. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, shout out to Cam. He took the trade, too. Yeah, so that Monday at 8:17, I took a sell position, actually. So that was right around here. That's where this trade is. So we'll go right there, Monday, 8:17. The whole reason I took this trade, expecting the market to drop back down, was the exact same thing that I just told you guys, but opposite, right? How now we can draw a fib. Right, let's delete all of this. Right, if we were to draw a fib from this impulsive move to this new one, and we're right here, we can still enter here and ride the wave back down. We can ride the market down to here and back up. We can ride the market down to here, which is what we ended up doing, and then just see what happens, right? Even though this is a bullish fib, we can still ride the pullback, right? And so for those of you guys that don't understand what that means, is that even if you're expecting the market to go up over time, instead of having to wait for the market to do that, since we're day traders and I'm a scalper, you can still take advantage of the current movement and sell at the current price if you're expecting it to go down and then back up, right? You don't always have to wait for that buying opportunity is what I'm trying to get at, right? So that's kind of what we did. Instead of waiting for the market to come back down here and missing the move potentially, Why not? And you're expecting it to come down here. Why not just sell it here, right? So that's what we did. So we sold it there. Whenever the price came, we sold. Boom, we're in the trade. And then we wait. And then take profit literally got hit. That same exact night. Take profit got hit probably like 2-3 hours later. So this was our second trade of the week. Second trade of the week was a win. I took a couple days off after that. I didn't trade on Wednesday or yesterday. Oh no, today is already fucking Thursday. So I didn't trade yesterday. So now we can go into where we're currently at. So Tuesday, New York session, I didn't trade Tuesday or I didn't trade Wednesday. But now let's look at this. So the fib is playing out perfectly, right? Something I need to work on is I say right and a lot. I say right so I'm gonna work on that. So to continue where I was at, this fib structure, we have 3 options when we're playing fibs. We have option 1, retracement zone number 1 and up. We have retracement zone number 2, the gold zone and up. Or we have retracement zone 3, which is a very deep discount zone. This is where the market went to, our deep discount zone. Some people say it's like 87.2 or like 78.5. Honest to you, I don't remember which one it is. All I know is that it's in right around here. Literally right around there. Does it make a big difference not knowing the exact number? Not really, right? It's the same exact thing. If you know it, you know it. You don't need to know the exact number, okay? So if I'm telling you it's 78.5 or 87.2, it's generally the same exact thing. So don't really worry about that. I'm pretty sure it's like 80 or maybe 82.7, one of those. But basically, to sum it up, it's right. If this is a distance, it's like 2/3 of the way down. So it's like right here. Okay? Right in between 61% and 100%. What number would you call that? Right around 78 to 82. You name it, whatever number you want, right? Whatever makes you happy. Okay? So the instance with this fib structure particularly is we broke past retracement zone 1 where we entered for the sell. We broke past retracement zone 2 where we took partial profits, and we came all the way back through retracement zone 3 where we eventually, if this was a great buy opportunity that I did not take sadly, but it was a great buy opportunity regardless, because as soon as we hit this zone, market came up, retested our retracement zone, and continued through take profit 1, 2, and eventually you'll see where it's at right now. So this fib is completely valid still. So even though we don't know what's going to happen, we can expect that this fib is going to be completed, and it's going to be finished, and the move is going to be finished using that structure. And you don't have to do any extra analysis. You don't have to do any extra guessing. You don't have to do any extra stress, whatever. You just use the common knowledge that we had from trading last week, trading the same pair every single day, at the same time every single day, using the same strategy every single day. So you don't have to guess everything every single day, right? It's the same exact pattern, same exact setup, same exact movement, same opportunity, everything. So that's it. So just using this same exact setup that I talked about this call, we were able to win 2 trades. It could have been 3 trades, but I didn't take the third one. So the analysis technically counts for 3 wins, but we only had officially 2 wins, right? We didn't take the third one, okay? So moving forward, this is Tuesday. This was Tuesday's trade opportunity that we missed. Tuesday, if we were to trade New York Open is right here in this gold zone. You could, let's say you went to sleep, right? Let's say you went to sleep and you put your fib here. You drew your fib, boom, and you go your fib here, and then you go to bed. You go to bed Monday night. Monday night happens, right? I'll leave that there. Monday night happens, boom, 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 whatever. You wake up. It's a beautiful morning. You're excited to get on the charts. You drew a good fib last night, and you're wanting to see where the market's at. And you say, okay, wow, the market actually respected. The market came down to this area, and we had a very strong rejection, right? Very strong rejection, right? So we came up. It's around 8:30 a.m. You can tell, okay, we're retesting our first retracement zone, so let's just buy. That's all you gotta do. That's all you need. That's all you need right there. There's other things you can go off of, obviously, with confirmations that if you go through last week, you can see it. We'll go over that really quick. But let's say you want to go for a 3-to-1 risk to reward ratio. You target take profit 2 if you wanted to. honestly, I would go take profit 1 because it's already 50 pips. So make this a 3-to-1. Boom. You literally would have had no drawdown. And now let's say that let's go to actually 8:30 a.m. when I actually trade. 8:30 a.m. Where's 8:30? 8:30 a.m. is this white candle. So we'd actually be up here. Even better. An even better entrance. Because now you can ride this blue candle's momentum. And you have, more confirmation that, okay, wow, this is going to go up. And you would have no drawdown. That would be a beautiful trade. Easy 50 pips. But I didn't take that one, so that one doesn't count. I'm just giving you guys that example. Okay? So back to reality, where we're currently at. Market continued moving. We had a little bit of consolidation. I sent out that I was expecting it to push a little bit higher. I'll show you guys how I was able to tell that. Right? Very simple. All right, we have a top. And we have a little bit of an ascending. Right? So this is literally known as an ascending triangle. And if you guys want to go look in the Discord group, if you want to see if it's true, if you want to go to the Discord group, you go here, you go market structure, you go right here, right? Ascending triangle is a continuation for bullish, right? It's a bullish continuation. Oh, Ollie, you're using candlestick candlestick patterns? Yes, dude, it makes your life easier. Okay, if you're using it with other confirmations, you know what I mean? So now using momentum, using fib, using candlestick momentum, and now we can also just get another confirmation that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then break, retest, continuation. So you could have gotten in on another buy there. I didn't get in on a buy there, but I just said I'm expecting the market to go up because we have an ascending triangle forming. So we have that. Let's delete that. Now let's see what happens. So we broke. Let's say you entered on that break. You still would have got a decent amount of pips right there. Okay? You would, however many pips that is. It's another 50 pips. Right? So now we're here. This is Wednesday. Wednesday I didn't trade. This morning's New York session, I'll get into this. This I was saving for today, right? So I didn't send this out in the Discord group to go over it with you guys live, right? So right now, this is where we are currently at in the market. Okay? We're right here. Right now, we are trading at this price. This is a trade. Again, I was gonna send it out this morning, but instead I sent out a message letting everyone know that we're doing this live stream tonight. So instead of me just sending out another trade for people to, blindly follow, I said I would do it live on here for those people that took time to get on the call, right? So for those of you guys that are here, you're gonna understand why I took this trade this morning. Okay, so for a couple simple reasons. And is this gonna be the last analysis? Who knows, right? I'm not really too sure yet. I'm not 100,000% confident in this setup for the long term, but we'll see what happens. Either way, it's already risk-free, okay? And I already took some partial profits, right? So let's go back, and now we'll put the market back to, I got on the computer, let's say 8:15. Let's say 8:15. So we're right here. This fib is finished. We can delete that. Or we'll scooch it over. We'll do that. Okay, couple of things. So we're just gonna go based off the top again, right? Off the top. We're gonna take a couple of things into consideration about job reports, right? Now we're gonna get into fundamental data, right? This morning we had a very important piece of news that was released, okay? It's called JOLTS, job data, right? And it stands for like job opening something, right? But it's just JOLT for short, okay? And this is a very important news report, okay? If it's positive, it's good for the dollar. If it's negative, it is not good for the dollar, okay? So, understanding just this, because previous weeks or previous months' data, we had a little bit of not JOLTS data, unemployment claims, sorry. But because of last month, we had a little bit of a guess, of what we were going to be able to maybe see. So if we look here, 8:30 a.m., we had unemployment claims this morning, right? The way that this works, for those of you guys that don't know how to read news, right? To keep it super simple, right? Keep it super simple, KISS, right? You look at this number right here. You look at last month's data, previous month's data, 208,000 people claimed unemployment. Okay, they filed for unemployment. They claimed unemployment claims, right? Now, the forecast for this month was 214,000 people were going to claim unemployment this month, right? Or for January. It's always a month behind. So for February, it's giving you the data for January and so on and so forth, right? So the forecast for January was that unemployment went up by, or unemployment claims went up by 6,000 people, right? That is a lot of people, right? And usually, if the forecast is just opposite from the previous month's data, usually it's gonna be higher. And again, just usually, there's really no way to predictably tell what's gonna happen when it comes to understanding trade data or economical data ahead of time. But you can just make a guess. You can make pretty much an educated guess, right? That's the best thing you can do. And you use your technical analysis, like we just went over, as an additional confirmation to make you feel good, right? But legitimately, if anyone says that they have an edge on the news or whatever, they're straight up lying to you, right? And unless you're really, really, really on that, like really on it, to break down everything that's going on with, every governor, every not every county, every state, every individual, political everything. You have to keep up with everything in regards to that. So unless people are doing that, because there's news reports every single day, pretty much, and every single news report impacts what the next one is going to say. All of them, it's like a giant ecosystem of information, right? And all of this information pretty much dictates whether the economy is doing good or the economy is doing bad. And if the economy is doing good or bad, that determines what the Fed is going to do with interest rates to combat inflation. All of these things basically are just measurements of what inflation is currently at, to see what adjustments the government needs to make with interest rates. Everything else is kind of just, not to say it, but it's kind of like mumbo jumbo. You know what I mean? If people are jobless, it's probably because inflation is high, so jobs and companies are firing people, to sum it up, are firing people to supplement the lack of money coming in. Why is there a lack of money coming in? Because consumers aren't spending their money because they're broke, right? So they're broke, they don't have money to spend, so the jobs have to lay people off, right? The jobs lay people off. What does that mean? That now unemployment claims are going to be high. So if unemployment claims are high, what do you think that's going to mean for non-farm payroll or unemployment change? Do you think it's going to be good or bad? If unemployment's high, that means that these news reports are probably going to be bad, right? Meaning this, right? So again, we just look at the numbers. Previous was 256K. This month's forecast is 169K, right? It's significantly lower, right? Now, if actual is greater than the forecast, that's good for the currency, right? So if we have a lot of people claiming unemployment, that means probably not that many people are currently employed, right? Or there's not that many people for NFP data. There's probably going to be a higher or a lower number for that because there's less people on payroll, is what I'm trying to get at. So non-farm, NFP stands for non-farm payroll, okay? So literally what that means is it's telling you the measurement of, and I don't know, I think it's like 1K is like for like 10,000 people or something like that. So it's not like 169,000 people are on payroll, right? There's more than that. But it's like in the millions or whatever. But the unit of measurement is used with thousands or whatever. But what I'm trying to get at is non-farm payroll literally means that how many people that are not in the farming industry are on payroll, right? So the higher that number, the better for the economy. But if a lot of people just claimed unemployment's high, payroll has to be low, right? Not has to, but you would assume, right, that it's going to be low. What does this mean, Ollie? Okay, so this is tomorrow. Okay, so am I going to be wrong? Maybe, right? Am I going to be embarrassed if I'm wrong? No. right? So my hunch that I'm having is that NFP data is going to be a little bit low tomorrow, right? If NFP data is low tomorrow, what does that mean for the dollar? It means the dollar is going to lose value. And what does that mean if the dollar loses value? It means that the currency pair, Euro USD, is probably going to go a little bit higher, right? Now, that's for tomorrow. So for today, how do we take this trade today? Well, we had a break of structure. Right here, we had a support here that the market broke through, right? So we drew a new fib. We drew a bearish fib. We drew a fib from there to there. Boom. I said this, okay? So since we went down that far, we have to make a pullback, right? No market is ever just going to keep going like this for the rest of fucking eternity. It's not going to happen, right? What is going to happen, though, is this. Maybe it'll pull back there. Maybe it'll pull back here. Or maybe it'll pull back way up there. Who knows, right? But what I do know is that the market isn't going to continuously go down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait for a good confirmation to get in. Where am I going to want to get in? I'm going to want to get in when price breaks above this previous resistance, right? Pretty simple. Okay, now we can look for some other things. Do we have any major support levels nearby? Do we have any psychological numbers nearby? Do we have any supply zones, demand zones, support levels, anything nearby that we can use as an additional confirmation? Yes, we do, right? What number is right here? 1.3600. That is a whole number zone. If you don't know that, then go back to last week's call where I talked about it in depth, right? But right here, we have a whole number zone where price started going crazy. We started consolidating very aggressively. So that means we're probably going to go up, okay? Aside from that, honestly, I'm not even going to lie to you guys, that's honestly really all I went by was just previous stuff. You know, what goes up needs to come, or what goes down needs to go back up. We had good fib. We have a strong resistance, or we have a strong support level. So I like trading fast. I like trading simple, right? It was already my time to enter. I got in, let's just say 8:30. We're not going to go that crazy. Right, let's just say we target here. This is where I think this is actually the setup that I went into. Make it a 3-to-1. Whatever. Right there is good. Let's say we got in there. Boom. And so this is where we're currently at right now. I didn't, what was I going to say? So this is where we're currently at. So what's going to happen tomorrow? Based off of this, now if we want to, right, we can do a whole new thing here. So this is where analysis kind of changes depending on the trade, depending on the plan, right? We can either do one of two things. And this is my real life analysis right now, okay? We can think one of two things. We can either assume that, okay, well, this fib came back to our gold zone and we started going down. So is it going to continue down? The way it will continue down is if this trade data tomorrow morning is positive. If that trade report is positive, this pair is going to continue down, okay? Now, if it's not positive, a way we can look at this is we can change the fib now, right? Why would you change the fib, Ollie? Okay, we gotta take a look at everything that's happened, right? Higher lows, lower highs, right? We have a high, I guess we can say low, high, low, high, low, high, low, high, low, and then lower high, whatever. What I'm trying to get at though is this right here. We broke above, right? We have a high that was higher than the previous one, right? What this means is a shift of momentum. It's a shift of structure. It's a break of structure, whatever you want to call it, right? If you were to put a line right here at the top of this, or right here, we broke past it. Even if it was a little bit, we broke past it, right? That's just a sign that momentum is shifting. So what we could do, if we wanted to, if we were bullish traders, we were like, no, I want this pair to go up. I'm expecting this pair to go up. Since we had a break of structure, we could draw a new fib. right? We could draw a new fib right here. And now this is what I'm currently actually kind of expecting, to be real with you guys, right? Because this fib looks pretty solid, right? Now, doesn't this look like a solid setup right here for buys? Let's say we never took that trade, right? Probably what's going to happen tonight during Tokyo is probably not a lot of movement. Why? Because this pair and every other major pair is waiting for what's going to happen tomorrow in the morning with the dollar. Okay, the dollar is the main mover in the world. It's the number one valued currency. I'm pretty sure it still is. But it's the number one traded currency, no matter what. It's number one traded currency on the planet, so it has the most liquidity, everything else that you can think of. Other countries, whether people like it or not, revolve around what's going on with the dollar, okay? It's how it is, right? So people are waiting for tomorrow morning, okay? Because again, why are they waiting for tomorrow morning? Because NFP, again, aside from interest rates, is probably the most important news report that happens one time every single month. One time, okay? So, what is my expectation for NFP? Again, I'm expecting a little bit of a negative report. You might not, even if it's a little bit negative, this pair is going to shoot up. If it's a little bit positive, this pair is going to fucking drop, okay? No matter if it's a little bit or a lot, whether it's positive or negative, it's going to move the pair, okay? So, my expectation is I'm bullish on this, right? So, we can expect this, right? We have good confirmation there. I mean, we have a good fib here. Right now, we're reacting off of our gold zone. Is Tokyo going to bring us to consolidate here? Is Tokyo going to bring us higher? Who knows? I can't tell you that because we're entering Tokyo session as we speak, right? What I can tell you, though, is that I'm going to wait. And we're going to see what happens tomorrow morning, right? If we want to look at some other confirmations, let's see what else we can get with each other right here really quick, right? If we're going to look at our indicators, let me see. This probably isn't the best time frame for that. If we're gonna use our RSI, right, we're getting a little bit of a reversal here, but we do have an extension here. We have our crossover extension on the stochastic. That's not the best confirmation there. I'm not gonna lie to you, right? Because one of them is good, one of them kind of isn't, right? We still have a little bit of selling pressure here. It looks like. So that's where Tokyo's probably gonna finish us off. Tokyo might bring us down to here, and we consolidate. Tokyo might bring us down to here, like we did the other day, right? Tokyo might bring us there, but tomorrow morning, when that news report drops, I'm pretty sure we're going to go up, right? Now, if we want to use a little bit more technical analysis, just to be simple, right? Simple, right? We have a strong low on the 15-minute. Oops, not the 8-hour. We don't want to go to the 8-hour. Nothing on the hour. So 15 minutes says we have a strong low. That's decent. We're in the middle of a supply and demand zone. Yeah, right now we're kind of in the middle of price. But I think we have enough stuff to make an educated decision. And the cool thing is if I'm wrong, fucking wrong. There's one trade I'm wrong on. You know what I mean? What's the big deal? We were just talking about how this entire week, technically, we're 3-0 with setups, 2-0 on actual trades. Well, the trade I took today, I won. But I didn't send that out to you guys. You know what I mean? So take that as you want. But so last confirmation that we have here is if we're gonna use our handy dandy Bollinger Bands, right? We're getting wound up right now, right? The bands are getting a lot tighter. That's just giving us additional confirmation that people are holding right now, that there's not a lot of liquidity in the market right now because people are waiting for tomorrow, right? So price is getting built up a lot right now, but we're also trading slightly above our 200 moving average, slightly above it, right? And when we're trading above it, we're probably going to continue above it. If we're trading below it, we're probably going to continue below it, right? So is taking that into consideration. This is a weak confirmation, but it's an additional confirmation, right? We have our little bit of a check mark right there. Check mark just means that it's a buy opportunity, right? Is it a great buy opportunity? Who knows, right? Now, we can either look at it from that perspective of buying, which is how I'm personally seeing it, again, because I'm expecting the report tomorrow to be negative, right? So let's just say that the market stays in our gold zone, more or less. This is going to be our setup. We enter on the break of the gold zone, and since this is going to be NFP, we're going to target the full take profit level. Usually we don't trade that aggressive, right? But because it's NFP, we're going to trade aggressive, right? Because the market could probably move this much, that fast, because it's NFP, right? I've seen it happen plenty of times, right? And if we're going to lose it, it's the same amount of risk as if we were taking a normal trade, right? I'm risking 16 pips to make fucking 90, to make 100. How many pips is this? 92 pips? That's a game for me all day. You know, usually I would take a setup like this. Let's make this a 3-to-1. Usually my setups look like that, if that. You know what I mean? So I'm 100,000% willing to risk 1 to make 5. Who wouldn't? You know what I mean? So if your stop loss tomorrow, you can just go full. You can just go all in on that. If you want to risk $100 tomorrow for your stop loss, you'll make $400 or $500. You know what I mean? Or if you lose it, you'll lose $100. The same way on next week, Monday morning, if you're gonna risk $100, you're gonna make $200 or $300. So when you're trading the news, there's really nothing to get slumped up on or slumped on about. It's just an opportunity for you to make more money. It's not an opportunity for you to lose more money, because if you use a stop loss, you're gonna lose the same amount of money every single time you trade. You know what I mean? So that's what you gotta remember. Some people trade the news and they'll go like full value, you know, or they'll go like max lot size. They'll risk, 90% margin on a trade and, have no stop loss, or have a stop loss that's too big for your account, and then you lose more money than you're supposed to. When you're trading news, it's never a negative thing. It's never a negative opportunity. Whenever I first started trading, I used to avoid the news just because I thought it was confusing. But now that I'm more experienced, I'm telling you guys as an honest person, right? The news is not a scary thing, and it's not a way for you to lose money. It's just an opportunity for you to make more money, right? And if you're wrong, you're wrong. It happens again next month, right? There's multiple news reports every single week, right? It's just NFP is only once a month, you know what I mean? But that's what my expectation is. The reverse analysis, the reverse analysis of this is the same analysis that we had in the beginning, where if we drew our fib here, it could continue dropping off. It could, right? I personally see more bullish momentum happening right now than bearish momentum for what I just told you, right? Because we had to break a structure. We have a strong bullish candle happening right now as Tokyo session is opening. So that's more confirmation. You know what I mean? So me personally, it depends. It really does depend, guys. Me personally, though, I'm going to give you guys my take on that. My take for tomorrow, we're going to have a bullish Euro USD. We're going to have bullish Euro USD tomorrow. Why? We're going to have a negative NFP report. That's going to make the value of the dollar worth less. And Euro USD is going to take off. So my buy opportunity that I'm going to wait for, I'm going to be up on the computer, 8 a.m., 8:15. And I'm going to send my updates in the chat tomorrow. If I feel like the market is looking a little bit more bearish, maybe I'll hold off. Maybe I won't even take the trade, or maybe I'll sell, right? But as of right now, with a clear perspective and full honesty, I'm expecting buys, personally. It's fun for me personally. It's cool to see the big, even if you're wrong, it's like, damn, but that shit, because you'll see a huge candle. You'll see a candle, massive candle sometimes. And it's cool when you're right. It's really cool when you're right. Your take profit gets hit literally instantly. You can have a 90 pip take profit and it gets hit in 2 minutes. You know what I'm saying? So it's cool. If you're trading prop firms, it's a little bit harder to trade the news, but you can get it done if you do it the right way. So this is what I'm seeing personally. Until I get a reason to see this as wrong, which Tokyo and London session will tell us. And when I wake up in the morning, we get on, we see what happened during Tokyo, what happened during London. We mark it out. Is New York going to target London highs, or is it going to target London lows, right? Who knows? We'll see that tomorrow, right? So, and I'll update you guys next week. As of right now, though, for those of you guys that are actively trading, I am expecting NFP to go good. I'm expecting a bearish NFP report tomorrow and a bullish Euro USD. That will mean that US pairs like USD CHF, you can expect USD CHF to drop off potentially, right? The same way we're having buildup happening right here. It's the exact same thing. This is a little bit sketchy if I say so myself. It looks like we got a little bit of, some head and shoulder going on right there, but who knows? So if we were to use USD CHF, it's kind of the same setup. If we were to go, I wouldn't do this personally. I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. If I was gonna draw a fib here, it'd be here. But this is bullish for USD. So who knows? You know what I mean? So USD CHF is my secondary pair. So we'll stick to Euro US. If you guys are trading gold, right? Same kind of setup, right, that we're having right now on Euro US. You can either look at it like this, right? Are we going to break all-time highs again? If NFP is negative tomorrow, probably, right? Or are we going to come up to this retracement zone and then dump, right? And continue that downtrend, right? You can look at it like that. Or you can look at it like this. Liquidity was filled, and now we're forming a new fib. However you decide. I don't trade gold, though. Me personally, I don't trade gold. I'm wanting to get into that this year, but as of right now, it's not something that I trade more so because I can't do it on a regulated broker. So, and I don't like trading unregulated, me personally. But yeah, what else can we look at? Interest rates. No, we're not gonna look at that right now. Same thing with Bitcoin. Bitcoin, could that go down? Possibly, right? Is it going to? Who knows? Bitcoin's a little bit different. That has to do a lot more with, fear and other stuff. But if NFP is bearish, then Bitcoin probably will continue up, right? And you can have a buy opportunity on Bitcoin, whether you're doing that with leverage or if you're just doing that, you're buying and holding, whatever the case may be. But obviously bullish on crypto overall. I just bought a coin. I just dropped $1,000 into a project called SafeMoon. So hopefully that takes off. We'll see where it goes. You know what I mean? But you invest money that you're willing to lose. You know what I'm saying? So in regards to that, that's where we're at with Bitcoin and other risk on assets. If you wanted to, this is going against the dollar. So let's just say if you wanted to, you could say sloppy. There's a flag right here. Whatever you want. And then we're gonna break whatever. But I think there's more. I think for trading crypto specifically, I think you need to focus more on technical analysis than strictly. On fundamental analysis strictly than technical. Just marking up charts. I don't know. Maybe some of you guys trade crypto. You can tell me. I've never really traded crypto like that, day trading it. So I don't really know if technical analysis really works. Trading Bitcoin or trading XRP or whatever. I've won a couple trades. On like Hugo's Way and stuff like that back in the day by using technical analysis, but I don't know if that's a viable strategy for trading crypto personally. To me, it looks fucking crazy. I wouldn't see there's any setups here. More so you just have to trade the news and what's happening with that, so I like trading things that are simple and easy to understand, and I like investing into things that are more complicated, so we'll make some money trading this tomorrow, and then we'll take some profits out and we'll use that to buy Bitcoin. You know what I'm saying? So that's my analysis for tonight, guys. That is my plan. I personally think Euro USD is going to go up. And if I'm wrong, next week we'll analyze what happened with the job data and why I was wrong, right? Win, lose, or draw, I'm honest and I'm transparent about it, right? So if I win, we'll break down why we won. If I lose, we'll break down why we lost, right? And we'll figure out what we can do to make the adjustments for the next week. That way we don't, or the next month or the next week. That way we do not make the same mistakes multiple times, right? It's okay when you lose a trade. It's okay when you fail a couple times. What's not okay is making the same mistake over and over again because you refuse to do the work to learn how to not make that mistake again, right? So that's all trading is. You win, you learn. You lose, you learn. Whatever it is, you learn, and you apply the lesson. For those of you guys that are not new students and you're not students, and if something I said tonight confuses you or whatever, I highly recommend that you reach out to me, and maybe we can do a free training session, or if you want to join the actual Cashflow program, we can talk about that as well. I'd love to have you here. But if you are a Cashflow student, make sure that you guys are in the Discord tomorrow morning, ready to trade, ready to, even if you're trading on demo, just trade. You know what I'm saying? But either way, continue to take action, guys. push yourselves to do things that you're not used to doing, right? Set goals for yourself, set discipline for yourself, and make sure that you're doing the things that you set out to do for yourself, man. With a big mistake that people do as traders, we talked about this last week too. A big mistake that people make is just overthinking everything and not taking action, right? Trading is not that hard. It does not take that much time. And whatever your job is, you can trade. If you don't trade, it's because you're lazy. If you're not investing, it's because you're lazy. It doesn't matter if you're broke. If you're broke, go make more money, right? If you don't know how to make more money, ask how to make more money or research how to make more money. It's not because you can't make more money, because you're lazy, right? And I'm saying that with love and kindness and care, because all of us have the potential to be financially free. All of us have the potential to be, the first millionaire in your family or the generational curse breaker in your family, whatever you want to call it. Everybody can do that, but not everyone's going to do it, right? It's not because you can't, it's because you're just not going to, right? Whether you have an excuse, oh, my job doesn't pay me enough money, or I don't have enough time, or whatever. You can make any excuse up in the book and it's going to sound great to you, right? Everyone else is an excuse, right? If you have an opportunity to do something, you do it. And if you fail, right? But no one cares about the sob story, right? And I say that again, not to convince you to join my program. Go join fucking someone else. I don't care. But it's because I have a sob story too, right? And I get up, I have things that I could be upset about. I have things that discourage me. I have things that could be taking my time and my focus right now at this very moment, right? But I have goals, I have intentions, and I have a mission that I made for myself a long time ago, right? And who's going to do it for me? You? No, you're not going to. Am I going to do it for you? No, but I'll help you and I'll make it easier, right? So the easiest thing that I can tell you to do right now is start doing it, right? There's, however much time you have a week to trade, it takes 30 minutes, 15 to 30 minutes a day. You trade, right? The rest of your time, you're figuring out other income streams or other assets that you can invest into and start doing, right? Your job is not going to get you rich, right? Period. No matter what job you do, unless again you're selling yachts or real estate or something, you're not gonna, and that's not even a job. That's not a job. That's sales. If you had a job where you're making hourly income, you know what I mean? Don't stress your life over that. Just do something different with your time. Okay. I had this conversation earlier where above gold, above real estate, above crypto, above everything else, you know what the most expensive asset in the world is? Your time, right? So if you're not using your time to your advantage on a daily basis, every single day, 7 days a week, 20 days a week, whatever, 48 hours a day, if you're not using every single second of your life to your advantage, you're losing it. You know what I mean? If you're not giving it to yourself, you're giving it to someone else. If you're not giving it to yourself, you're giving it to your boss. You know what I mean? And who's your boss giving their energy to? Their boss. And so on and so forth until you get to who? You get to the business owner. Right? You get to the entrepreneur, you get to the innovator, you get to the person that was willing to take the risk and they don't have a boss. You know what I'm saying? So the way that you lose your job is you fucking quit doing it. Don't quit your job automatically, but you gotta start. You gotta take the time and energy that you have now and reinvest it somewhere else. Right? There are some people that I talk to that message me every single week, if not month. They'll message me or month, if not week, whatever. Asking for years, dude, for years. You know what I mean? Since I started trading, and not that trading is the best thing in the world. Trading is not perfect. It's just better. You know what I mean? It's something anybody can do. It's something that anyone can get into. It's something that's cheap, it's affordable to get into, and it's easy once you learn how to do it. So I think it's cool, right? But I have people that, I'm not going to say any names, but I have people that message me since I started my entrepreneurship journey. Hey, bro, how do we get rich? Hey, bro, what's the play today? Hey, bro, XYZ. You know what I mean? And they're still working at the same job. And then some of them are job hoppers. Do you know what I mean? And they don't have any job. Or some of them have no job and they're 25 years old, 26 years old. You know what I mean? And it's not because not because trading's bad, or not because Forex is a scam, or not because crypto's a scam, or Bitcoin's a scam, or it's not because the system's a scam or whatever. It's because you just don't want to work for it. You know what I mean? It doesn't take that. It's not that hard to learn how to make money. It's really not. You know what I mean? It's not that hard to leave your job. You run the numbers. It's not that hard to go all in on yourself. You just got to do it. So now we'll end the call off with that. I like ending the calls off with a little bit of, just not even motivation, just helping you guys get dedicated, because The biggest, I get on one-on-one, I do one-on-one coaching for those of you guys that don't know. I do one-on-one coaching and mentorship as well. And one of the biggest common denominators as to why people don't make money. I'm a trading coach specifically, so with trading specifically, but in any avenue, is because they're lazy. They just don't want to do it. They'll, you'll sign up for the program, 2 months go by, and you're still in chapter 1, you're still in chapter 2, and then you're saying, Ollie, bro, trading doesn't work. Dude, this is so confusing. You know what I'm saying? It's like you can't even get mad at you can't even get mad at the fact that you're broke at that point. You just gotta be mad at yourself. You know what I mean? Because you just don't do it. So to sum up this conversation, to sum up this message for you guys for tonight is if you're already knowing how to trade, you just gotta keep doing it. We're in the same boat, man. We just gotta trade, we gotta hustle it up, but we gotta make more money in other avenues, right? Because you're not gonna become a millionaire in trading. Right, I'll be the first trading mentor to tell you that. Yes, I sell a program that teaches you how to make money with trading. You're not going to get rich with trading. Okay, I say it in the first video. You're not going to get rich with trading. You won't. Everybody here, you're not going to get rich with trading. You won't. You're not going to do it. If you do it, prove me wrong, and I'll be happy for you. But you're not going to do it. Right? It's fucking impossible. Next to why? Not because trading doesn't work, but because you're broke. Right? Same thing with me. I don't have enough money to throw in $10,000, $20,000 into an account and flip it to $1 million. If I did, I would, but I don't. You know what I mean? How do I get 20 to 30,000 to put into an account? I need to be diversified in different fields of entrepreneurship. Okay? How do I do that? I gotta learn. I gotta invest. I gotta take time. I gotta take energy. And I gotta sacrifice, like tonight, for example. All of you guys, shout out to you guys again. It's been an hour of our Thursday night, right? Do I feel like doing this? I mean, I like doing it, so don't get me wrong. But is this like, I'd rather do them earlier, you know what I mean? Whatever. Point of what I'm trying to get at, though, is we got to do the things we don't want to do in order to get the stuff that we want. You know what I mean? So for you guys that are new traders or aspiring traders or aspiring investors, some of you guys are going to watch the recording too. I'm going to send the recording to some people. You've been sitting on the fence for a long time about joining the program, right? Program's $1,000. I charge $1,000 for lifetime access to literally everything that I know. Okay, full transparency. Go look up the prices if you want to. Whatever. I have nothing to upsell you. I have nothing to hide you. Nothing. It's $1,000. Okay. I have people that I've been talking to for 3 fucking years. Okay, about bro, I'm gonna get that money one day. You're never gonna get the fucking money. It's not. You're never gonna say. Your job is not gonna give it to you. Okay. You have to go out and just spend the fucking money or go make the money, right? And if you don't want to spend it with me, right? I don't care. Go sign up with Q Banks. Go sign up with Mamba. Go sign up with whatever pyramid MLM you want to sign up for, right? I've been there too. You know what I mean? I've been there too. That's what I'm saying. Go do it if you want to go try that, right? Point is though, spend the money, okay? So spend the money. That's the best thing you can do. Spend the money. It's better to spend the money than to spend your time. Okay? Better to spend the money than spend your time. Some of you guys are working a job that you hate. Some of you guys are working 10, 12, 14 hours a day. I couldn't imagine doing that. I used to. You know what I mean? I used to have to do it. And that's why I said, fuck that. You know what I mean? I don't want to do that no more. I can't. I refuse to. Not because I'm better than people, not because I'm smarter than people, not because whatever. It's just because I know I deserve more. You know what I mean? And because I know I deserve more, I have to be willing to do more. You know what I'm saying? Right? I can't listen to people that are in the same position as me. I can't listen to people that are not in the position I want to be in. I can't listen to my family telling me, oh, do this or do that. I can't listen to my friends saying, oh, bro, you shouldn't be a trader. They're fucking working jobs. You know what I mean? Some of you guys are waiting for an opinion from someone that... Why? A lot of times people will say, oh, I got to ask my boyfriend first. I got to ask my girlfriend first if I can start this business, if I can make this investment, if I should start trading. They're going to tell you stay broke. You know what I mean? Or they tell you, no, I want you to stay broke. And you're going to say, okay. You know what I'm saying? What are you doing? So at the end of the day, it's 2025, guys. It's 2025. We got to lock in and we got to work hard, right? We got to work hard for our why. We got to work, and whatever your why is, whether it's your family, whether it's yourself, whether it's your dreams, whether it's your childhood vision for yourself, whatever. You got to work for that vision though, okay? And you got to be relentless with it. Trading will get you there. It's going to take you some time, but trading will get you there eventually, But if you don't want to wait forever, do something else while you're trading. You know, do something else. Oh, but Ollie, I don't have the money. Learn how to make money. Oh, Ollie, I don't have the time. Learn how to schedule your life better. Oh, Ollie, my job makes me work 20 hours a day. Get a new job. Quit the fucking job. You know what I mean? And I'll end it off with this, because now I'm going on a rant. But it's that we as humans, we get so conditioned to patterns, right? Patterns, we're habitual animals by nature. Okay, we don't like change. We don't like pattern interruption. Okay, and when you understand that at a simple level, right, that you're an animal, you know, you know, we're not animals, just animals, but you know what I'm saying. With that we have, you know, simple men, we have simple brains, we have simple minds still, and understanding that when you get uncomfortable doing something, sacrificing time, sacrificing energy, sacrificing money, and you get that little feeling, man, I shouldn't be doing this. It's just because that's your body's natural defense mechanism to keep you in a safe zone, because it thinks that you're safe because you're comfortable, right? So if you ever get scared of taking a risk, it means that you're comfortable. If you ever get scared thinking, oh man, should I trade? Should I spend this money? Should I go here? Should I go take that trip, you know, to this business seminar? Should I do this? Should I do that? It's because you're not used to doing shit. You know what I mean? Eventually taking the risk gets easier. You know, eventually it gets easy to pull the trigger. Eventually it gets easy to spend the money, right? If you lose the money, you fucking lose it, right? You go make more. You know what I mean? You take the risk though, right? And you can figure out what happens as a result because of that. So my word of encouragement to you guys this week is work hard, right? Work hard, work relentlessly. Okay, things are gonna keep getting harder. Economy is going to continue to get worse no matter who's president or what's happening, right? They're not going to come and save you, right? Whoever you think is going to come and save you, no one's coming, right? No one's coming. Well, you're lucky that I'm here telling you that no one's coming, right? Some people have to figure that out, that no one's coming, and they're fucking 40, 50 years old, 60 years old, you know, by the time they figure out no one's coming, right? Because the government fails them, right? So don't do that, okay? Instead, work hard now, right? Make the risks now, take the investments now, put the time in now, and just do it. Right? And you'll see how much easier it gets over time, guys. So next week, we're going to see what progress you guys have made. I encourage you guys to go out and do something different this week. If it's trading, start journaling. Take 5 trades this week and journal those trades, right? And if you win them, you win them. You lose them, you lose them. Journal why you won or lost, right? If you're a new trader and you don't know what you're doing, do research on how to get started with trading, right? When you figure out how to get started with trading, start. If you have a business idea that you're wanting to start, do research on how to start the business, right? Go to ChatGPT, it's free, you know, make an account and ask ChatGPT how to start a business. It'll tell you word for word, play for fucking play, it'll tell you. And just do it, right? Now, that's the hard part, is just do it. So whatever your goals are, start working towards them and start putting in the action for those goals, guys. And you'll make progress. And by next week, you'll be 7 days ahead, or you'll be 7 days filled with more excuses that only sound good to you. You know what I'm saying? So again, any excuse I tell you guys too, oh, Ollie's a capper, or you know, Ollie this, Ollie that, you know, that's how you guys feel about me when I say an excuse. I get it. It's human nature. So when you guys tell me an excuse too, you know what I mean? So that's really that. You know, there's nothing to it but to do it, guys. Nothing to it but to do it, right? So, and something that a quote that I like to say, and I'll end it off with this, right? If you do it right, you get to do it light. But if you do it wrong, you do it long. So some of you guys have been doing entrepreneurship and trading the wrong way, and that's why it takes you so long to make money. That's why it takes you so long to see progress. That's why it takes you so long to get anything significant out of your effort, because you're doing it wrong, right? If you do it right, you get it faster and you do it light, right? So with that, guys, I'm going to end off this call for tonight. I appreciate you all hopping on. I hope you all learned something tonight. I'm going to be doing my best to clip up these videos and, you know, post them throughout the week. I have some other videos I got to post that I'm super behind on that I should have been posted months and months and months ago, honestly. But we're coming. They're coming, right? So instead of me looking on the past, regretting my past, we're going to look into the future and make some stuff happen, guys. So I'm going to let you all go. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you know where to reach me. But with that, guys, I will see you all at the top because the bottom is way too crowded. Have a great night, and I'll see you guys next week. Peace.